back in black. But did they ever really go away? The All Blacks, that is obviously what that song is in reference to. Mr. B. Leonard.
They're back, baby. The All Blacks. They looked deadly and they looked dangerous. Welcome to the Rugby Podcast.
The Rugby Part Card.
The Rugby Pad Card. The Rugby Podcast. Actually, that's not what we're called anymore. Richard, what are we called now?
I think it's the Rugby Report Card. I think we're fine, no?
Yeah. 3 teachers.
I think you'll find yourself to be correct there.
So if you're listening for the first time or watching for the first time, welcome to the Rugby Report Card. We've changed the name as a bit of a rebranding to join our brethren at Green and Gold Rugby. Yeah. And we're 3 teachers, and that's the lamest pun we could come up with.
Exactly, and I think we should probably make more of a notable mention of the fact that we will be phasing out the release of this on the Rugby Podcast SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I think this is the second last one before it's strictly only available through that Green and Gold Rugby iTunes or SoundCloud.
So enjoy it while you can. No, more importantly, jump ship. Go over to Green and Gold, and then the best part about that is you can go on their website and read all their interesting stuff.
Yeah, look, and the theory behind the whole thing is that we just wanted to be part of the whole Australian brand of independent rugby journalism.
Well, Richard doesn't want to be.
Yeah, I don't. But...
Well...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Talking about, I'm really intrigued. I didn't watch the game with you guys yesterday. I watched it at home.
It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, well, I saw the brilliant Twitter feed. I love the comments by the two of you every now and again, just putting things in there. I'm going to ask first of all, Crotty, good.
Look, I'm happy to eat humble pie on this one, and I loved it. By the way, I loved it. Everyone ripping into me as soon as he scored. I just thought, oh fuck, I'm done here. I am done here.
But
and then
was he actually that good?
Thank you.
Yes, he scored a try, but actually, when you look at it properly and actually affects it, he didn't actually do anything.
Yeah. So this is my humble pie. I thought I'd Crotty, All Blacks. I thought I'd wear it. But I'm not going to lie. Oh God, can you imagine the hate coming? He was good, and no Wallaby was good, and we would have had him any day of the week that game, but.
You could have put Dowsett at 12 and you would have looked all right.
I would have ripped at 12 for the All Blacks last night. Like, he didn't do that much. Oh, I'm dead.
No, I actually do agree with you. Like, watching the game, I knew you'd get shit. And we're all part of a team. Yeah. We're all going to get shit.
We all said Crotty shit. I think we even made Hugh say
it. We did actually, yeah. So should we blame Hugh?
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know what? You're right. I didn't think he actually had that great a game. Like New Zealand was such on the front foot there that, as you say, anyone could have played well in that.
So we can run a train on this Australian team right now,
and we will.
But the thing is, we got to also say, we can shit on Australia for 20 minutes, but also we have to praise also the All Blacks were outstanding at times,
clinical and incredible.
Completely.
So, but it's not uncharacteristic. It's what we came to expect from them.
But actually,
praise them, but like standard.
No, but I actually thought their offloading game at times was so much better than what it has been in more recent times.
And their set piece.
Yeah, completely.
Their set piece has looked in a very, very
long time. Absolutely agree.
I think they deserve lots and lots of accolades. It's just hard as an Australian fan to give them. You expect more, so you just want to focus on how shit we are.
Well, what it shows is the fact that camp is a waste of time.
No, not much gets done in camp.
No, absolutely.
Well, if we can take that point, I think that's what pissed me off the most about the Wallaby performance. And we will get to praise the All Blacks because they deserve it. But what pissed me most about the Wallaby performance is it was coaching issues. The cattle's not good enough. We know that. But the fact that the restarts were shit. Lineouts were shit. Scrums were shit.
They just weren't tuned. They weren't tuned. No, they were shit, but they weren't tuned.
I would say actually that, yes, I agree with the fact that you're saying it's coaching those things, but actually those players can actually perform those skills. It was just a lack of execution. So whatever it may be, like Stephen Moore can throw a ball into the lineout, but how many times did he underthrow it at times yesterday?
He's done.
You can restart better, but it was just a lack of execution. So
yeah, I guess my point with the coaching is we saw the blueprint in Super Rugby for 18 weeks or 1,000 weeks, however fucking long it goes for these days. We saw the blueprint of rugby, which is don't commit to the breakdown, otherwise they'll carve you up in counter-attack. And it looked like we took that on board. We dropped Fardy, he goes hard at the breakdown. And instead of...
But you know what? They didn't actually... Sorry, I know I'm interrupting, but it's like... they still, I know you said don't go hard at the breakdown, but everyone still got sucked in that there was still so much space out
That's
wide.
what I mean. For me, that's like clearly you needed the camp to realise the game's evolved, it's changed. They're going to carve us up out wide. We need to go less hard at the ball. How you could not see that as a coach fucking baffles the mind.
They obviously changed their defensive structure from the English test. Would you say so? Did it look completely different to you?
Well, it looked fucking non-existent.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's what usually is indicative that they've changed it heaps. And
But do you think that's actually...
But you would defend heaps differently to New Zealand than you would what you would have expected. And we did see England play just because they're so good on the counter. So a lot of the times they did find themselves spreading and chasing the ball, and then our wingers were just not quick enough to withstand their fucking counter-attack. And too many times Haylett Petty was just at the feet of Naholo. Too many times there was a prop inside the winger.
Barrett just burning.
And it's just poo.
Yeah, how many times were there mismatches? Though?
Oh,
like so many
just
times.
Baffling,
Yeah, absolutely.
Baffling that there's mismatches. And I think to just bitch a little bit more about coaching, because we will get to the players. They deserve it.
Dude, what about their fucking mindset? I saw Hooper smiling in the sheds before running out.
Don't smile, man.
I didn't see any All Black smiling, man.
No smiles, man.
It's not allowed.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be stamping out in camp.
They were so annoyed.
That's what you got to do at camp. Stamp the smiles out. I was just going to say, the thing that really pissed me off is we picked a kicking side. We made that abundantly clear.
I know what you're going to say, yeah.
Then Foley's come out to the press and said we're going to kick more. Genia said we're going to kick more. Mick the Kick said we're going to kick more. Yeah. Then we come in and we fucking kick more, and then we kick shit.
Yeah, execution again. Execution.
Yeah.
Their kicking was awful.
But don't tell them we're going to do it and then do it poorly.
It was even to a case of where they said, right, okay, say if I'm the chaser down and you're failure, right? They've timed or they know exactly when you're going to kick. They don't know how they're going to kick. It just gave their rush defense. You know it's going to happen. We've all been there when you're trying to stay onside and you're not quite sure what's going to happen, so you just hold back a little bit. Whereas they knew exactly what's going to happen. Their press was awesome at times.
Yeah, incredible.
That rush style of defense fucked the lines up and it fucked us up.
Yeah. Yeah, and we knew it before the game. We said ad line and offloads. Got to shut that down. Shut neither down. Oh God, it's brutal. It was a tough watch.
Yeah. In a losing team, Pocock stood up, just never gives up, and I guess that's fucking.
I agree, but I think
it's evolved away from his specialty.
Yeah,
is that where you're going?
And if you look at Francois Lowe in the South African game, those guys that go hard at the ball, they're just a bit out of the game at the moment. They're just a penalty magnet. They're not much else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Pocock's got the skill to reinvent himself.
No, this is a situation where obviously you go into a game and we all thought, I think it was between a 6 and 13. We thought we'd get it somewhere in between.
Yeah. I tipped Australia.
5 and 13.
5 and 13. Sorry. And but how far does it go before you have to think about changing? Because look, yes, I know you lost to England 3-0, but thought I'd just get that one in. So that's 4 on the bounce now at home. And how long? Yeah, absolutely. It's a new record. So how far does it go until you change this identity completely and go away from the Hooper Pocock idea, or do you stick with it until, because it is New Zealand and they are amazing?
Look, for me, I think the decision's an obvious one, and they've been at fucking Boy Scouts for 6 weeks and they've practiced this. They're not going to change it. They're not going to do the big personnel changes. I think that will limit damage, because you can't get worse than that, and no one's as good as the All Blacks.
Well, you can, because you're in Wellington next week.
It's
going to be brutal.
Against South Africa and Argentina, I guess. And I think maybe if it's wet in Wellington, that'll slow the rot. It might slow New Zealand down a little bit. I think that would be damage control. When I think what actually needs to happen is to have an honest look and say, who were the informed Super Rugby players?
But that's the problem.
There weren't many, but it's Reece Hodge, Samu Karevi, McMahon. Like, they're the guys that probably need to have a look in, and they won't.
Yeah,
you're not going to throw them in the gauntlet.
If you look at Reece Hodge arguably could have, it's still very much an unknown, only performed because there was no pressure on him. You put him 12... running at Crotty, who is of absolute quality.
Class, isn't he? Class.
Hodge is going to shit himself, mate. He's only 20-something.
Yeah.
Young 20s. He's going to shit himself.
No, but the
you
other
put him
side
on
of the
that world stage. Hodge isn't the answer.
No, because you say he's only 20. He's that naive. He has that arrogance. He doesn't have any scars of being smashed week in, week out.
That doesn't hold up when you run up against the All Blacks.
I'm with Richard on this one. I think...
So you would start Hodge at 12. Well, then, let's get Kellaway on the wing.
Kellaway's a bit shit. No, I look. They won't, and it won't happen. But I think of this going to the old guard where we've been flogged for 13 years, and it hasn't worked. It's not going to work. We're not going to catch them. We might close the gap, and we might have a better day at the office, but we're not going to catch them. We'd have to go through each position sort of individually.
Yeah,
and
12 is the main talking point because I don't think Tamu is the answer.
Bill's
Tamu's
injured.
fucking off as well.
Giddo's injured. Tamu is injured. That's three very, very talented players who play the 12 we want, and if they're all out, that's a very difficult one to solve. Rob Horn's your stopgap fix. You can push everyone in, but he's injured too.
Controversially, and I know you'll probably say no, would you ever play Quaid and Foley together?
No. Quaid's too much. He's too rattled.
But that's the thing. So Quaid gives you that maverick, that sense of you might lose by 50. Oh wait, you pretty much lost by 50 anyway, so you might stand a better chance. No. And Foley's a little bit more creative, can defend in that channel and a better option. I don't know.
I've seen that us run that gamble a lot when you throw Quaid in, and it's never paid. It hasn't paid off since 2007.
Yeah, I agree.
11,
like if you sit here and you think,
time.
When's the last time Quaid's had a good game of rugby?
It wasn't in Toulon.
Well, they didn't pick him.
It wasn't in the sevens either.
It wasn't his last year of the Reds.
When was it?
I don't know.
It was a very.
He's built a career off some smoke.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. However, I tend to agree that if some sort of change must occur.
I just don't think Quaid's the answer. And that'd be going back to the old guard, man. Quaid's been around fucking ages. We know what that is.
So if you don't go back to the old guard, then you play Reece Hodge at 12 then?
Yeah.
I
was shitting on it 10 minutes ago, but fuck, everyone's down.
Kurandrani, I'm sorry, but what has happened to him?
Yeah.
What has
happened to him?
I know he's taking the ball standing still at times, like 10 metres behind the gain line, which doesn't help him, but he doesn't look anything like the player that he was before.
He needs to rock up his ass. What's happened to him is, when you've been in a job a bit too long and you know exactly what you just need to do to get by. No one notices you're doing less. No one notices you're doing more, but you just get paid. And that's what he's doing. So he just knows he needs to tackle Feki Atoa 2 times out of 3. He needs to make ad line 1 every 2 runs.
And so he didn't do those, and he dropped the ball on several occasions. Okay, question to you guys then. So if you've got the old guard right now, okay, and you play the same team, but you lose by 15.
Which is what I think will happen.
Or
next week, no way, we always get our asses kicked over there.
Nah.
Or you play the younger guys, you change it up, okay, and you have your new midfield of Hodge and Karevi, and you move things around, you change your forwards as well, because they didn't set a great platform, but you lose by 30. Which are you more happier about?
I'm for the change. It's not going to get... We won't lose by this much again, and if we do, it'll be about this much.
Dude, I reckon we can lose by this much again.
I don't. I really don't. That's just... doomsday thinking. That was horrendous. That won't happen again. We're not going to lose our 12 5 minutes into the game, lose the replacement 12 10 minutes later. Genia coming back from having not played for 4 years and looking tired 5 minutes in. None of that stuff will happen next week. We will still lose. I'm unequivocal in saying that. But I can't see the floodgates. And we'll be more prepared for the beast after we haven't played footy for a long time. So I don't think we're going to get mop the floor with, but I'd rather us lose by more and look at a way that might bring us success in the future. But then I am aware of throwing young guys to the Lions. And then
fuck them long term too.
And then a lot of what we've said is change the centres.
But without
the issues stem.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Much closer.
If you look at the actual 4 tests you've played this over the last few months, you've had a different set of locks every game, which is one problem. Yeah. We're still not sure if you're competing at the breakdown or whether you're fanning out, so your back row is a problem. So you're right, building on what you said. You talked about the centres being a problem, but actually your forwards have to set a platform first and foremost.
The issue's much closer to home.
Absolutely. So do you actually think about it? Stephen Moore, I've already said
he's fucking shit.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He underthrew so many underthrew the ball so many times at line out. His work, he's supposed to be, he was in the team not for that, but to be dynamic around the pitch, a ball carrier in the loose, he wasn't that. Not just him, but also the 2 props. You got to think about why didn't Slipper play? CO struggled again.
Yeah. See, the lifespan of a captain is such a variable. It's different per person. Richie McCaw would have been captain till he was 50. like Gregan was captain
The-
for a
the
long
problem
time.
with-
More, it's just like his World Cup campaign was
It was class.
pinnacle,
Yeah.
and it's just been shit. Then you got to
And-
ask the questions because you got to keep your form on top of your
absolutely.
leadership.
Yeah.
And he's a shit captain. Like, refs fucking hate him.
I fucking hate him.
Absolutely. It's painful watching
Yeah.
it. Comes over to have a chat, and it's pretty much the ref wants to say, fuck off, Stephen.
Yeah, and
Seriously.
the players, like, you even hear the commentary say, well, now Giddo's back, they've got the real captain on the field.
Yeah, it's a
And it's
tough
like, all right, well, so he's not a captain, and he's not very good. We know Tataf's better at scrummaging. We know Tataf's better around the park. Like, see him more, you're done. The locks in the second row, Douglas is a freak.
Oh, completely.
I thought he was class. last night.
He's a defensive mountain monster.
He's not. It doesn't look quite fit enough.
No, but he'll
to
get
play
there.
80.
Yeah.
But he's class. Simmons has been a bum for a very long time.
Dude, isn't he? He's built a career off smoke.
Dude, I remember giving him $2 the other week when I was walking through the city. He was he's a bum, mate. He's a bum.
Don't know about that comment. Don't know if that's right.
Were you not with him at that time? Or?
He's no good, man.
But
He's
the
a
thing
bum.
is, like, we're shitting on it now because you've lost by that point. But let's make the thing, just get one thing straight. It's not something that's a short-term thing. You know, like, you don't lose 3-0 to England as much as I love it. You shouldn't be losing to England 3-0 in Australia and this game as well. So it's not just we're shitting on them because they've just lost one game. This is a culmination of a few weeks, really, yeah? And it's how do you move forward? Because let's be honest, this time last year, you were in a World Cup final and you were singing the praises of Cheika and Ledesma and were saying you'd done a great job with the forwards. And you know what? It's moved quickly, but
It's dog eat dog out there.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
I was
thing.
this time last week or this time 4 weeks ago, I would have been like, oh, we just need a new face in the coaching staff. But we brought on Mick the Kickburn. Mick the Kickburn came and they kicked shit. What's Mick the Kick bringing?
You know
Someone
what?
tell me what he's bringing.
he's bringing
He's not
charge
bringing
downs.
kicking.
He's bringing charge downs. That's what
He's
bringing.
a fucking spy from the All Blacks.
He
He's
bugged.
like, you
He
need longer.
bugged the hotel. What does he do?
You're setting us up from the inside.
Do you know what I'm calling for? I'm calling for the death of the cult of Cheika. Like, we fucking praised this guy for a very long time because he brought crowds back to New South Wales. He got New South Wales a title. He got us a World Cup final. Very commendable. That's great. He's charismatic. I get it. He's an alpha male. But we've got to get off his nuts. Stop swinging from his ball sack and realise that he's lost 4 on the trot at home. He's picking 40-somethings who look shit.
Dude, no.
So to go to
And a lot of our frailties are
so
coaching.
to go to what
He's
you
got to get
said-
fucking angry again.
So to go to build on what you said earlier on about lack of coaching ability, you get him because he is the charismatic guy that brings the coaching back, but he just needs better people around him.
I think it's a squad thing. I think it's a depth thing because when I remember when Robbie Deans took the reins, mate, and he won the first few, and the trot numbers were like, oh, Deans flag, and then he lost a few, and we just fucking sick him. We started hating him.
Good.
It's horrible. So I don't know. Maybe Czech needs to be that underdog position again. There's too much praise.
I think he needs to get a bit angry. He seemed smug the last year, and I think Czech is the motivator when he's fucking pissed off and he's telling him you're not good enough. I don't know.
I reckon he needs to go back to coaching the Tars. He's got too much time to think about it. He's overthinking it. Just fucking tackle. Jesus, I watched him in the press conference after the thing and he's talking about how he didn't rev the boys up enough. And you're right, when you go back to the Tars games, he's standing there fucking screaming,
Smashing shit.
swinging shit. And now you just see him standing around the pack as the boys all just kind of get ready.
And he's always taking it, oh, it's my fault. It's fucking their fault, man, and tell them, you're the boss, man. They're shit.
But they're and it's the same in most sports, but the players are so pretentious at times. If you actually tell them they're fucking shit, then actually you start to lose the dressing room and it goes even worse and they don't play for you even more.
Dude, it's a hard gig, eh?
Yeah, and the
Tough
thing is,
gig.
because some of them will need that hand around the shoulder, some of them, they just need a different voice. Now, I'm not saying get rid of him, I'm saying that you bring
No,
in
he's
someone else.
contracted for 3, and
Yeah.
neither am I. But I'm just saying, the media, the press, the fans, everyone's just swinging from this guy's nuts like he's the saviour. He's got to answer for a bit. He's got to get angry, and he's got to fire some pricks up.
What does Larkham do
Absolutely.
this week? He's got nothing to build off.
He goes back and goes to the library and
pass.
reads a book about how to organise an offence.
Do you know what?
Like literally how the fact that he is. If you look to the Brumbies of the last few weeks, they were stagnant in attack as well, weren't they?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Like, Larkham
Yeah,
was
they
my
were.
favourite player growing up.
He wasn't mine.
5'8". And I wanted to love him as a coach, but he's done fucking nothing.
Yeah,
He's ridden
absolutely.
Jake White's coattails. He's coming to the Wallabies, their attack's gone backwards. And if it's your first time listening, one thing that shits me no end about Australian attack is the second man play. Is the just aimless second man play. They're not even running a blocker. They're just chucking it 15
Proper
metres
league
behind the
style.
yard line.
Do you know what frustrates me though? Watching it, how many times did you do the classic one up? Just literally just drive up. set it down.
Dude, we can't
done.
set it down. We can't set it. We don't make ad line with a forward
No,
running.
you're right. And how
I
many
tell you
times?
who else needs heat? Nathan Gray, mate. You're supposed to be the defensive coach. What are you doing, man?
Do something, man.
Do something
But
different.
in defense of him, though, no pun intended, is the fact that there was a lot of personnel
Not a bad
change. Yeah, thanks. There was a lot of personnel change. So I know you've got to learn how to defend in different channels and understand the platform and stuff, but he has some grace because there were so many changes in that system. I think that, and at times Australia did not yesterday, but in the previous series, Australia defended well. But Australia for a while haven't attacked well.
No,
you're right.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so far, if you're listening, this has been 20 minutes of fucking negativity. So
Fucking so what?
we will pick this bad boy up in a
Yeah.
minute. But that's the most excruciating thing. And I'm a Foley fan, but he has never, and I mean never, played well at 10 without a creative 12 outside him. He isn't the brains. He's a bit more solo. Like he'll pick his spot, he'll run, he'll throw a good pass. He's quite good, Foley, at that sort of stuff, but he can't direct a team.
So you are both separate. You're in different rooms. I've not bugged either room to pick your team. Okay, for next week. Do you stick with your guns? Last thing on this, I would say, just who'd you change, or do you not change anyone?
Obviously, and it's a big statement. See you more.
Yeah.
A roommate. See a sipper. CO slippers in.
Yeah.
If I could speak. So
CO's
it's a bit of a
times.
front row overhaul. Second row Simmons has got to go.
Yeah.
Got to go. Kurandrani needs a fucking rocket up there.
Much harder to sort out that other second row spot. I don't really...
See, do you still
You
think
give
that-
Douglas time. You give Douglas.
No, Douglas is, but who do you replace Simmons
See,
with?
I would say you probably still keep Simmons in there.
Yeah.
Just because of your line-out options, but you need to have a skeleton on the bench to add something to come on after about 60 minutes, just to change it a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to maybe... Because I don't know who else. You've looked at all those other options. I think in the long term, they're probably the two best ones. My concern for... Not that, but I would say, who's your back row? Do you keep it the same?
No, I think...
Because McCalman, what did he actually do? Let's be honest.
He came out firing. He had about 5 carries in the first 10 minutes, and that's his job. The problem with McCalman is he's abrasive and he does everything right. He just doesn't win the contacts at that level.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, I
Super
agree.
Rugby level he does,
Yeah.
but at that level they just put him down.
Yeah.
And he's no risk of offloading, and he doesn't do enough in the line out, he doesn't do enough at the breakdown.
Yeah.
He's just not enough. So
Yeah.
I think you do have to go back to Fardy at 6 because you need a line out option.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like that's
Fardy's a workhorse. You just probably steer him away.
just away from the breakdowns.
But it's so hard. Your natural instincts are, there's the breakdown, let's go and pilfer.
what I've
You
always
know?
You'd have to. And then I would do something slightly controversial.
You're going to move full out of 13, aren't you?
Probably in a minute. But what I'd do in the back row, I'd bring McMahon in for Hooper. And it's not because Hooper was shocking last night. He wasn't good. Very few blokes were.
Yeah.
And he is world-class, Hooper. But I think they need a shake-up. And McMahon was the form Super Rugby player. You've got to start picking guys on form. And I know people argue, well, why not Pocock? Because it's a very different skill set. And I fucking love David Pocock. He's a legend. Genia, fuck off. He was... Last 20 or 30, when the game slowed down, he looked good. Because then he could play his European... Genia style.
Dude, he didn't play any
slow.
European style.
I was just about to say, that's a slant on the European game, clearly, because he was shit for a while. Like, the good European player gets to the breakdown quickly, gets rid of the ball, box kicks the corner, and actually snipes in around the fringes as well.
His snipes were good though, Genia.
He did one of 3 things.
Yeah.
Like,
It's got to be Phibbs, who I think's erratic and shit, but it's got to be.
good finish, by the way.
It was.
Good
It was a good
finish.
That's the
finish,
heart.
absolutely.
That's the heart.
Maybe you found your new winger. Just need to look in the scrum half collection.
And then from there, it gets ugly, the back line. Because Folau's your form 13, Karevi's your form centre, Reece Hodges your form back. You probably got to find a spot.
And do you know what? I'd be looking forward to, if you play Falau at 13, I think it will end the whole conversation that he's not a 13. I'm going to say that right now.
Well, he just will be a 13, I agree.
But,
as soon as
no.
that
He's saying he won't be a 13.
Oh, no, nonsense.
Well, we'll see.
Nonsense. The guy's, he's world class.
Yeah.
Do you predict that next week?
No,
I think
I
we're
don't-
then
the
more
only-
inclined to put Karevi at 13.
The only reason I don't predict it is because we've got men at 13. If you take Folau out of our back 3, we've fucking legitimately got no one.
Callaway's available.
Haylor Petty's got to go. He's got to pay a price for missing 3 early tackles. Like, there has to be a toll for that early in your career.
But as you said last week, who comes in? That's the problem.
Mitchell.
But we'll see.
And attacking Mitchell.
Just depends if he,
There's no sting, Caleb Petty. There's no sting there. He did do that one thing chasing down Feki Toa, who was in cruise control.
Oh, he was jogging. He was jogging.
What was that?
He was taunting him, going, "You can't catch me. You can't." Oh shit! You caught me.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
DHP, he's a good player for the Force, and he played well in the England series. But
it's a different beast. It's a different beast.
He wasn't up to it last night.
It's different lines.
And I think as a coach, you got to start letting him know that it's not good enough. See you, mate.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Shit
Big
sucks,
overhauls. Big overhauls.
So in terms of New Zealand, we mentioned we talked about the fact that I thought their offloading game was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were just
Next level.
They were just throwing balls that were just. Let's be honest, we would have, even if we would have never thrown them. Like England would have never thrown them, Australia would have never thrown them, because we just didn't have the confidence that the support play was there. But they know their guys there. Whether it's communication from a guy yelling or just instinctively knowing that someone was there was just unbelievable. And we talked about committing at the breakdown too much, but just those offloads just created space and made the defensive structure just a waste of time, really.
What impressed me most is because you watch the Super Rugby, you kind of expect that shit. Like, yes, they're not meant to be that good at international level.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to be that good.
But what impressed me was once they dominated the tight stuff, it was over.
Yeah,
because they had already had the rest of it won.
Yeah.
They had the better kicking game, they had the better running game, the better offloading game, but maybe our scrum could be really physical and our line-out could be on parity and we could, drag it into a game and maybe their offload stopped working. As soon as they dominated that stuff, which was full credit to them with a bunch of really no-names for them, given the interest they had in the front row, it's fucking game, set and match.
Did they answer the question that Barrett needs to be a 10? Needs to stay there?
Well, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
But the bigger question for me is that when Cruden comes on, they didn't look as. You had to shift Barrett across to 12, and I thought he wasn't as effective. No, he wasn't as effective there. So,
but what was Cruden taking the last kick at goal? Did you see that?
We took her last few, didn't he?
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know. But
he's a better kicker than Barrett. Barrett's not a great goal kicker.
No, but the question for me is that as the guy mentioned on Twitter a while ago, the Cruden for me, I know you just shift one across, but he lost his way when he was moved out there. So actually, does Cruden not even make the bench now?
I just think when you're a winning side, you don't change anything. Cruden's world class. They'll keep him. But I totally understand your point, which is unless he's replacing Barrett, which is never going to fucking happen.
No, he doesn't play anywhere else.
You don't need to get him on. Yeah.
Who would you put there instead of Cruden, though?
I would look, and I've swinging from his nuts all year, Mackenzie, because he's going to cover both your wings, fullback, and 10 in an emergency.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just don't think that will change. I thought, and apparently it's not thought in New Zealand land, Artie Savia. His form in Super Rugby. Sam Cane didn't look that good.
Oh, I thought Sam Cane played really well last night. I thought his work he's working around a tackling at that breakdown. I think he did all the ugly things, what I would call them, a typical forwards. Like that's what he did well.
It just gets his head in the way.
Yeah, completely.
And keep Artie on. And
when Arnie Surveyor comes on at 60 and you're freaking knackered at that point, and you go, oh my gosh, like Surveyor's coming on now as well. Like that's unreal. Like for me, I thought Sam Cane did all the hard work.
So would we expect to see a similar team next week from New Zealand then?
They're not going to change much. I think for them the issue will be had Crotty pull up and had Naholo pull up. Naholo didn't look good. And Crotty's the bigger issue. I mean, he's shit, mate. He was actually pretty good. But Crotty's the issue is they're just running out of centres. Yeah. Mawala's down.
Yeah, let's be honest. That's the only reason why he's in the team. Let's be honest. Is the only reason why he's in the team because everybody else is injured.
Leonard Brown? That's your centre?
No, mate.
You just want to say it?
I would have definitely picked Proctor or someone of that calibre over Leonard Brown.
He's like saying that. Leonard Brown.
Anyway, sweet. Should we move on to the next match? South Africa v Argentina? Or you got more to say on this fucking showdown?
No, just class. And if you went through 1 to 15, who was good, they're all fucking very good. I mean, Beauden Barrett was class, but unsurprising given his Super Rugby form.
And you know what? Next week it might be the case that New Zealand just drop off 5% and Australia improve by 10%, and suddenly it's a lot closer for 60 minutes.
It's a 10-point game. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's what I think will happen anyway.
Yeah.
No, I think in New Zealand there's a history of us getting our asses kicked here by at least 20. I'm expecting that.
I don't agree. Hold on.
Oh, this is Messed up. What's that?
That's
all
all right. We're still doing the podcast. Yeah,
That's
it's just
sweet. Nah, massive history, mate. Last year they put 50 points on us there.
no. I don't
know why you're so reluctant.
I don't share your pessimism. I don't think.
Will there be, the big question is, will you be standing at that very door frame over there with your long sleeve Wallaby jersey in excitement next week?
I got it. I have to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll be here.
That's good, yeah?
And we were actually saying when you play the All Blacks, it's kind of
We weren't
it's
that
more
nervous.
enjoyable because you're going to lose. So you could just watch the game.
Surely, but that gives you want hope. You want to, so then it's more dangerous when you actually, I was going to say...
13 years, man.
It's been horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking horrible.
I wouldn't know what that was like, sorry.
Oy. All right, next game, Bocky's Argentina.
Yeah, look, this was
Good game of rugby.
it was a great game of rugby.
You
But
love Jackson refereeing when
No,
it's,
I don't.
when you
I
no
don't.
but when you don't have a dog in the fight because it's fucking chaos and it's fun.
oh, fuck that, man. I didn't have a dog in the fight.
Who?
I wanted them to lose, the Buckies.
You go for
I did
Irish.
when Argentina came through. I
Hang on a
wanted
minute,
them to
you
come through.
love the Lions and you wanted the Bockies to lose?
Sang the South African anthem before the game.
Oh,
It's a good anthem. Look, I sway. I don't know. When Argentina
That's
were
news.
up and like they beat them there last year, they were on top by 10 with 10 to go, and I just felt like Glenn Jackson was like, "Fuck,
You know
if
what?
I'm
Even
gonna
though-
get home tonight."
the fact that Argentina scored, what was it, 10 points when they only had 40 men on the
Yeah,
pitch as
yeah,
well? That's pretty awesome.
Argentina's ability to offload in the tackle is fucking very impressive. Their attack is not much else. It's just kicking.
They're very broken player.
But broken play, whew, man, it was impressive. Fuck, take that Jaguares jersey off them, and they're good.
Absolutely.
They were very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, but the Bucks were also shit. They just couldn't execute either. Loose ball.
And it could have been more if Mapu actually scored the try as well.
Yeah.
It
How
could
do
have
you
been.
drop that?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's another dude who's struggling to find international form at 13. All 13s from all three nations.
It doesn't help. He doesn't help by the fact that he's got
Dylan.
thank you inside him.
Yeah.
That does not help.
What's that about?
I don't really know.
What's that about?
I'm glad they went with the Yankees, by the way.
Dylan is shit.
We touched on this on Thursday.
We touched on it, but he's shit. Honestly, he just attack dies. As soon as it gets to him, it's game, set, and match.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I can't. I do not understand it. I thought Habana,
Was below
much
grade.
like
I didn't like
everyone else who's come back, is not up to the pace.
We know why. We know that he needs to play more because he's been playing sevens recently. So
Yeah,
he needs
yeah.
to play more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
just
liked
think-
Goosen. He made
Yeah,
errors, yeah,
15.
but I thought he had some spark.
Yeah, and he's a good
some spark.
counter to Yankees
Mm.
because he's a little bit more textbook. And if you have to move him into that 10 channel, you'll get a better kicking game. You know, just a bit more strategy.
What do you think they actually, the South Africans, and please, if anyone's listening, please let us know your thoughts about, you played the game. Yes, you've won the game, but that's now 4 games, which again, you're not really impressing at this moment in time. Yeah, okay, you could say you've won 3 out of 4 games, fantastic record. But where do you move forward? Because playing away in Australia, playing home or away against New Zealand is going to be tough.
Yeah.
The same question, do you actually go back to Stain, or what do you do? Do you
We were
play
having
Ryan
this
Spencer?
conversation.
I don't think
which is-
Yankees played that shit to warrant.
No, he was good.
Yeah.
But
Can't kick.
We were saying
No.
like it's kind of doom and gloom for South Africa. If you actually think about it, they're probably performing as bad as Australia. They did worse at the World Cup. We won the Rugby Championship last year. They didn't. They lost to Argentina at home.
I love how you got that in there.
Love
how you got that
Yeah,
in
but
there.
it's true though. If you look at their form over 12
They lost to
months,
Japan in the pools.
They lost
Yeah.
to Japan in the pools. They had a shocking World Cup.
At least they got out the pools.
They've played poorly against Ireland. Like you
Yeah.
dropped a game against Ireland at home, and then poor in the other 2 Test match. And I don't think you can be happy with this result.
No
No.
way.
No.
They played like Mario Kart repping, as you say.
Yeah.
But what changes do you make?
For me,
It was kicking though. If Yankees kicked those initial goals, game set. I don't know why. One thing I'd probably change, and they definitely would have sorted this out at training, is why was Goosen going for the long range? Comrick's perfectly capable. He kicked fucking 100 during the Super Rugby season.
they probably had a kick off at training or something, you'd imagine. Yeah.
You'd have to question. whether
I
that's the
think,
best way to go
and
about it.
fuck, people are probably sick of hearing me say it. I think the picking of Francois Lowe in flanker, which 6 for them's their open side, is a step back. They've gone hard at the ball. They've conceded a lot of penalties, and they've not had 15 men to defend because of Lowe always being hard on the ball. I think a Declanberg or Kriel in that flanker spot offers them a lot more and lets Whiteley play a little freer. I don't know. But for me, that's one.
Both Tecklenburg and Creel aren't line-out options, though. They're quite low stature.
Lowe's a midget,
flankers.
mate.
Low?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He's a tiny
playing a
little guy.
Bath, isn't he?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. He's a tiny little
He's a
guy.
good player, but he's not
Well,
international class player.
I think he was a few years
Yeah,
ago,
but that's what- not
it keeps
now.
going to this thing of
Yeah.
we're not hard on the ball anymore, so you'd rather the ball runner, the ball carrier, the tackler.
Which is very similar to Australia.
Exactly, which is, it's concerning signs for that Pocock mould of player.
Absolutely.
Is moving away
What
from
do we
that.
think of, I know the South African commentary was swinging off Faf's nuts too. But once again, just an erratic
It's a
player.
lot of swinging, by the way.
What a
right?
name, though. Can we take a
Yeah,
minute?
Faf
Faf.
de Klerk.
His name's Faf.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Great. But he was throwing it out on the full, knocking it on at the rucks in key times. They love him because it's the heart thing. They love the heart over there. But
And
he's
he looks like a lion.
When I see Faf running on, I don't get too
But he doesn't
concerned.
look like a Springbok, though.
No, he doesn't
no,
look
it's
No, it's
looks
right.
like a lion.
Yeah. Maybe that's a problem.
I think
But he did win him the game with that inside ball and the pace, and he puts
the
his body on
scrum
the
won that
line.
game, though. It was the scrum that set up that try. There's no
It wasn't the
illusions
scissors
there.
move, no?
No, I
They
think
finished
it-
it?
I
Faf
think
had a
it's a
hand in the try. Could we say that?
Just. I think Faf.
What a
man.
lot of animals in that spring. We got Goosen. We got Faf the lion.
Faf the lion. That's it. We don't
Yeah, I was
know
going to say,
That's
who
about
else?
it.
The beast. No.
The beast. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can argue that.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it is, really.
I think.
Moving on.
I think. That's good, Jimbo. That's no good. Oh, that's no good. I think Faf is their fibs. He's erratic, but when he's on, he's so quick to the breakdown. He's got so much heart and defense. When his 20 minutes of heat is fucking exceptional, but he's going to throw a shit pass. He's going to chuck it to no one. He's going to give away a dumb penalty.
Yeah, and he's going to be great when you have, as you say, when you got that go forward. My worry is against the Australians and even the New Zealanders, obviously, is when you don't have that go forward.
Which
How
is
is he gonna...
where he struggled in the Super Rugby final. He was awful.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
be interesting to see what happens.
I don't
they're
think they're going
tight-
to change their team too much.
No,
South Africa.
their tight five operated very well.
Yeah, but their type 5 is outstanding.
Their second rows are fucking joke.
Like Steph
Very
Dutoit and it's a
ugly,
bit. Yeah.
It's hideous.
They don't have any animals in their name
No,
either,
no.
so...
It'd be interesting to see next week how Argentina do bounce back because both teams have to do that big leg over to South Africa. South America, rather.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see whether or not those home-cooked meals do actually come into account. So we
They are
take that
beautiful.
travel out of it. Both
They are
teams are
beautiful.
subject to that.
But I think the way it's scheduled, it only really hurts Argentina.
Yeah. big
It's
time.
not really a home game for them because they've had to travel and travel back. You'd rather the schedule the South Africans.
Yeah, big
What do
time.
we think? We always talk about Argentina being this front foot team, this forward dominated pack, which they
They
are.
won it all though.
Yeah, they did.
yeah,
but what I'm
didn't
saying
act
is,
an edge.
but I always thought that Nicolas Sanchez is outstanding. But you know what? He did have a good game. Don't get me wrong. But do you think what else does he need to do to help out his team be more effective?
I think for them, it's having an attack that isn't only working in broken play. If the game's not broken, all they've got is the up and under.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, it's not that bad
No.
at international rugby. It is very hard to diffuse. But I think against a team with a counter-attack like New Zealand, it could come very unstuck. They just need a little more attack.
I think, especially for Argentinian style, like Montero was way too slow. If they're going to
Fucking
play that
huge,
broken
though.
play, big man, if they're going to play that broken play, you need the finishes. And Cadero's there. Chicole's done it in the past.
They need him off back. Where's he?
He's overseas.
Yeah,
Not
that.
available for selection.
Yeah, I wonder.
That rule will
about
die in the
decision.
arse very quickly, mate.
You'd take Clues into the box by 7, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. They almost won
Yeah.
that. They
You'd
should
take
have won.
that.
Yeah.
They
completely.
should have. I agree. They
Yeah.
probably should have won. That last try was fucking sexy. That last Argentina.
Hernandez didn't have his best
Sexy.
game. He had a
Yeah.
few missed kicks,
Yeah.
which put him under some pressure. And,
The game is very reliant on kicking accurately.
Yeah.
And against a counter-attack side, you're going to come undone. And it works if you can muscle up at scrum and line out time, and they were just a little bit off.
So what do we think? Obviously next week in Argentina, do they...
I'm anticipating an Argentina.
That's what I'm saying. Do we...
Argentina victory? Nonsense. I reckon the Box...
That's what I was going to say.
No. I reckon the Box make 1 or 2 little changes.
Who?
Hopefully they're centres. They looked ordinary. Hopefully Habana.
But the thing is, with the centres, he's not played that many games. If you drop him now, is that too much going to ruin his confidence too much?
No, fuck Diolande.
Diolande can fuck off, yeah, absolutely. But
I think they make 1 or 2 changes, and they're just working into it. They're playing as a squad. The Argentina, that's as good as they're going to get. They've been the Jaguares all year. I reckon they'd earmarked this game down, and they'd thrown everything at it, and just got pipped in the last 5-6 minutes. It'll crush them.
The only reason I'd go on the other end of that, or the other way rather, is just that both teams are travelling, and you look at South Africa bouncing back against their Irish loss, it really wasn't that big of a change. And I don't know if they got that in them in a week with 14,000 Ks to travel.
No, but the Argentinians have to travel just as far, and they just travelled 14,000.
I think would you say they're pretty similar teams? Do they play the same way?
No, I think South Africa's got a lot more flair.
And South Africa and they're trying to change their mould, aren't they? They're trying to get the ball wider. I think if they play the same game, which they're not going to, then they'd win a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah.
Do you think if South Africa do win this game, does that? I know there's still a long way to go, but does that, because they've won away from home and does it set them up for finishing second, which is the best of the rest?
Of course, big time, massively.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting competition because have the All Blacks literally gotten that good at rugby?
No, I think it's
or has everyone just regressed?
Yeah, I think they have,
Yeah, I agree.
It's a bit of both, but more on the fact that the other teams have regressed so much.
That's what I think.
Like if you look back, I know, sorry to go back to the game, the previous Australia game, there's not that many changes between the World Cup 2 years or a year and a half ago than what it is now. You just think how much they've gone backwards.
Yeah, but how much have they mentally switched off? Ashley Cooper,
those guys came back fired up, ready to go. They're just not up to it anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or just switched off physically.
I think that's more. They're just not good enough anymore.
They're just not good enough anymore.
But it's interesting.
It's a short window, eh?
Yeah, I just think not playing Super Rugby for a year, not being I think that French rugby is just
completely.
Not
you can cruise that top 14, but the
France suck.
Yeah, they do. But the problem is with that top 14 is that they're in a whether it's Racing, whether it's Toulon, they're in such an elite thing that the problem is they could just cruise through certain
play 3 or 4 tough games a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's not the same. It's not the same.
And they're not up to it.
No.
Adam Ashley Cooper though, back to the Australia game. Sorry, impressed.
Yeah, I was too.
Same old Adam Ash, mate. You put a fucking green and gold on him and gets the job done.
But did he impress because he didn't do anything wrong rather than him doing anything right? Okay.
We'll take that.
Right.
At this stage, that's a win.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm trying to go into the predictions for next week then.
Yeah, sounds good.
We've kind of touched on it, but Australia, New Zealand, what do you think, Richard?
Oh, New Zealand quite comfortably. Sorry. I think. Do you know what? I hope, and I hope that Australia do make changes. And I hope it is a closer game. But I don't, in Wellington, I can't see New Zealand not winning.
No, of course not. I'm going 20+ New Zealand.
You will get that bet, definitely.
I think that is a bet.
Yeah.
It's not that 5.
It's not a 5-13.
No, which has got some traction though, may I add.
Look, you'd have to be a moron to tip Australia. But I'm not. No, absolutely, New Zealand are going to win. But I hope... I don't think it'll be anything like this week. I think weather conditions won't allow that.
Do you also hope that, sorry interrupting, you don't think, you also hope for Glenn Jackson to be the referee, so basically Pocock can do what he wants. Can basically do what he wants at the breakdown.
So I think it will be closer, but, I think it'll be close for a while, and then New Zealand will get that 1 or 2 late counter-attack tries and win sort of 12, 13 points.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you think it's going to be that close. I love that.
I do. I just don't think as much can go wrong as it just did, and I think the reality check has sunk in. And look,
it's going to be a wet day. There's going to be bombs from everywhere.
But I just think that limits points. That just takes the points out of the game and neutralises both teams a little. Not New Zealand that much, but a little bit. And I also think, as fucking shit as all our players were, and you could go through each one of them how shit they were. They're not always that shit. Some of those guys are world class, and a year or 2 ago, some of those guys are
but they're
legit
becoming shit on a more regular basis. That's the problem.
And plus, Hodge will be running on at 12.
with Karevi
Yeah,
outside.
he definitely
Karevi
won't. Can I
outside.
just say that there's no way that will happen?
No,
you
I
would
know.
never throw those guys to the Lions in New Zealand.
Part of me would like that to
But
happen,
dude, who
as I
are you
said.
going to put a
but
12 there?
You're going to
That's a
ruin their
massive
career if you do
question.
that. I think you push Kurandrani on one, Flower will go to 13.
Well, he played
Petty to
correct-
15.
You're
Mitchell on the
saying
wing.
Kurandrani to 12?
Yeah.
Well, no,
Scratch ball in the way.
They played Karevi and Kurandrani, didn't they? In the
Yeah,
England
they'll
series?
either do that
I reckon they're more likely to
or...
put Karevi at 12.
Yeah, and then Flower to 13 because, look, it's going to be wet. It's just big centres. 15's
Had a Petty.
Mitchell goes on the one wing. I think that's that's the more likely scenario.
They could easily just pick the same team.
Hey, but if that's the scenario,
Yeah, maybe he goes. Do you know what? You sucked last time. Go and make amends for what you did last week. That could be the other. That could be what
if
happens.
Tamu is fit, they pick him. There's no doubt about it. They
Yeah.
pick him.
Other than Giddo, obviously.
He won't be fit.
No, I know.
It's horrendous. So Tamu is your 12, and then maybe, but I reckon they stay Kurandrani. They might go Flower to 13, which I'd like to see. There's no way the centres are Hodge and Karevi, not in a million years.
no.
I'm just saying though, maybe those guys need a spot on the bench. Let's see them. Let's get them on the park because the mediocrity that we keep fucking selecting is no good.
Just a lack of showing up.
Yeah.
Argentina, South Africa.
I'm comfortable South Africa, 15 plus.
Yeah, I actually think South Africa as well.
And I said this
Just
week
because-
I said 6.
Just because I think they have been in camp for a while, and
Who?
the South Africans have been together now. Obviously, the Lions played in the Super Rugby final, but I just think that extra week might actually help them. If you look at the Ireland series, they lost the first game, and then they did get slightly better as the competition went on. So I think it'd be close again, but I think the South Africans will just get over the line.
Did they play in Argentina last year? South Africa?
I don't remember. It was
remember.
reduced.
It was
Anyway.
reduced. I don't think they did. I think it was just that one test at the end of it.
What's your tip? You said Argentina before.
No.
Sticking with that, or have we persuaded you? Are you
Nah, I'll
that
stick
weak?
with it. I'll stick with it. Fuck you. Fuck
Are you
off,
that
man.
weak?
Fuck off. Argentina by 20.
Put that bet on.
Well, I guess thank you for listening. If you're from the Green and Gold community, hopefully you like what we're doing. If you're watching on the video for the first time and you're on the YouTube community, thank you very much for watching for the first time. If you just love schooling me about Crotty, keep going. It was good fun. I really enjoyed it. Please get behind us on Twitter. Please subscribe to the Green and Gold Rugby podcast because that's where we'll be coming out.
Yeah.
And the more feedback we get, the more things we have, and the more
we have, and the more humble pie.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I'll just put the tips on. The tips on. Well, not the tips. I don't know what I'm searching for, but that bug in the New Zealand route. There was no way that wasn't a betting agency.
So they're going to
They're
kick
just-
their
they're gonna kick their
goals.
goals.
Really was.
the Nixon
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
a betting
Definitely a
agency.
betting
Thought you were going to
agency.
take responsibility for it there.
Sports bet. Sports bet.
One of them. I didn't
One of
want
them.
to say any
I
of
didn't
them,
want to
but
say any of them,
you've
but
obviously
you got
jumped straight to it.
jump straight to it.
I reckon that's the same. Like in this day and age.
Good
In this
pun,
day
by
and
the way.
age.
How was Mike Baird's reaction?
Yeah, I know. I did like that.
No good, mate. No good. Yeah, I was betting. If I was betting, my money would be on it's a betting agency for
Yeah.
sure. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I would agree.
It's
It's an interesting situation.
Betting on
You're
it.
betting on
Bet
it.
on the betting
You bet on the betting agency.
by 5 to 30.
By 5 to 30.
One more thing. If
listen to us,
check us out on Facebook. Nelson York, the big man up in Queensland, runs our Facebook.
Yes, he is.
Cash by Johnny Cash.
Gets cashes by
Gets cash.
All right. Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. So once again, just to reiterate that we are phasing out that rugby podcast.
With the rugby report, the rugby report card.
The rugby report.
So,
So
thanks.
Send us stuff.
Yeah, get amongst it. Cheers.